Hi, Chris here. In this video I want to talk about vaccines. At the moment, currently we're just going in, we're in autumn, we're about to get ready for winter. These vaccinations for flu, influenza vaccines readily available at the moment. And obviously, all children, and as we grow older, brought up in a regime or a programming with of vaccines that we get. I just wanted to talk about this particular subject because I just wanted to open up some conscious awareness in regards to vaccinations, and the concept itself about vaccinations is a good one. I can understand that. Just the way it is done and gone about clearly does not show me that it's being done for the right reasons. It's really a marketing and a financial gain for the people that are creating these vaccinations and making them. There's much better ways of creating a stronger immune system and maintaining strong immunity as well. So we're going to talk about those things as well. First, I just want to talk about the propaganda in regards to vaccinations. Our history, us human beings have been around for a very long time now, for thousands of years, and we have survived for many thousands of years without vaccinations. And I know that this will create a sore point with a few people because of people that have been with other people that have had whooping cough and some of these horrible diseases that essentially have been eradicated through vaccinations. And that's where I kind of agree with people that the idea of a vaccination is a good one, but I think it needs to be a last resort. At the moment it's our first resort to trying to bolster our immune system against these viruses and bacterial infections, when really we're not giving our body a chance because we're not giving it the environment and the fuel that it requires to do its job properly to begin with. A lot of us are being born and created without an immune system, and we never get told how to look after our immune system or what to give our body to create a stronger immune system. And that's just awareness and it's just education, and we're not getting that. And we're not getting that because they'd rather sell you something, and they're selling, even though you go and get your vaccination, you go and see your doctor and they give you a vaccination, behind that is a lot of money being produced for pharmaceutical companies, just like a drug, because the vaccine is a drug. So there's a lot of propaganda regarding to incorporating fear with vaccinations. It's like you're being told that if you don't get vaccinated for a particular thing, well, you could get it and this could cause all these health problems, you might die from it. So there's a lot of fear involved with it, with trying to get people to take the vaccine itself, which I don't think is a really good way of doing it. It's just it's trying to get people to take the vaccine because of feeling like, oh, I don't want that, or just not allowing the people to make an educated decision themselves. And a lot of the reasons why they want you to be in fear is because then you're being governed, and you're not being self-reliant and looking after your immune system. You're essentially giving your health to what we call the experts, that are being told that you need to be vaccinated. So when it comes to vaccinations, obviously the virus itself, let's give the example of the flu virus. The flu virus, it's not a living virus. So they'll straight away say, well, you can't get the flu from taking the flu vaccine because it's a dead virus. But what it will do, not only the dead virus that's within the vaccine, but all the other ingredients with it, combined with it, essentially creates an assault on the body because it's not natural. Anything that's not natural You know, like even when somebody gets cannulated, or the body treats it like it's assault. They don't know it's being cannulated. They just know that something's entered the body in an unnatural way. So quite often, people that do get vaccinated or flu vaccine will get the cold, or their immune system will actually drop and resistance for a while, and that's just because the body has been assaulted. The immunity actually lowers for a while after having that vaccination. Now let's look at some of these ingredients that are within a vaccine. Some of the common ingredients within a vaccine are preservatives and stabilizers. So just like what we see in processed foods, aluminum or aluminium. Now there's ingesting aluminium is usually not good news, but we're actually injecting it straight into somebody, and they use aluminium really to maintain the stability and preserve the virus that they've got within the vaccine. Sometimes antibiotics are used during the production of the vaccine, and that just prevents any contamination of growth of bacteria. So yeah, we don't want to be taking more antibiotics, because that destroys our microbiome, which is essentially 80 to 90% of your immune system. So a lot of the times our immunity is low because we're relying on antibiotics, so we don't really want another source of antibiotics. Formaldehyde is another ingredient they use, and formaldehyde is what we embalm dead people or dead insects or so on in. So it's not really a great product to have in a vaccine, and that's used during the production of the vaccine. Quite a lot of the times they remove a lot of it out once by the time you're using the product, but there's still trace amounts of formaldehyde there. MSG, monosodium glutamate, which is a chemical and additive we use in foods to enhance the flavour of something that's bland, so it makes it taste better and taste fresher than what it actually is. It's essentially a junk ingredient, and it's actually an excitotoxin which excites all the neurons in your brain. It can also cause brain cell death. So, it's not exactly, why would that be in a vaccine? They use it as a stabilizer. That's what they say on their website. Thimerosal, which is a form of mercury. That's right, mercury, the most toxic heavy metal there is on the planet. Mercury. If you ingested mercury, pure mercury, then you'd probably die. But if you put it in a cavity as a filling, put it in a filling, and then because you've got cavities, then it's okay. That does not make a lot of sense. And why would you be putting mercury? Okay, of course it's being used as a preservative, but why? All these added ingredients, it just doesn't make sense. And accumulation of all these toxins together with the virus strain within a vaccination creates this assault to the body, because it's just, the body has to repair itself from something that's supposed to be helping it. That doesn't make sense to me. When you think about all these ingredients are chemicals, and it sounds like processed food, and at the moment we're being told, which is correct, we should be eating less processed food, we should be avoiding it. Well, we're happy to accept a vaccination that has just got junk in it. I'd rather build my immune system in another way, and we're going to talk about other ways building the immune system up. First, I just want to talk about viruses. Now, viruses are what we call polymorphic. They can change its vibrational frequency, so change its form. So that's why we don't see many antivirals in the medical community, because they're just so hard to create an antiviral, because when we feel like we're on top of a virus, then all of a sudden it changes its form and that won't work anymore, the antiviral. So a lot of the times we're making, say, like a flu vaccine, but that's maybe for one strain, and there's many strains because they change, they're polymorphic. So that's why here at Truly Holistic, where we're using vibrational energy medicine, it's a lot more accurate way of treating people for viruses and bacterial infections and so on, using vibrational energy. So where's this education that is supposed to be? We're supposed to know how to build an immune system. We're not being told. Now this is a better way of building your immune system up and being more self-reliant and self-sufficient for your own immune system. Remember, you've got more bacteria, friendly bacteria in your body than you have of your own cells, and more DNA of friendly bacteria than your own body. So we're essentially a farmer for friendly bacteria and bad bacteria. But we need that balance right so the friendly bacteria make sure those bad bacteria numbers stay at a range that's not going to cause a health problem. Remember, all these bad guys like Salmonella, Streptococcus, staph infections and so on, we have those within the body all the time. It's just we have them in very little numbers that they never create a health problem. What keeps them at bay is friendly bacteria, and that's why studies and research is showing that our friendly bacteria is essentially 80 to 90% of our immune system. So wouldn't it be a better way in increasing the numbers of our friendly bacteria in our gut to stop us from getting these flus and particular things that they're giving vaccinations for? So we know things like such as fermented foods, coconut kefir, yogurts, kombucha, these sorts of things increase our friendly bacteria numbers. Other things is herbalism. Going to herbalism, using things like turmeric, ginger, aloe vera, olive leaf, echinacea, garlic, vitamin C, those sorts of things to help build our immune system. More importantly, vitamin D. Vitamin D is essential for your immune system. A lot of the times where we're more susceptible during winter months is because we're not able to get the vitamin D that you normally get in summer from the sun and sun exposure. In winter, the sun is further away from the earth, and therefore it's lower in the sky. And where we are on the planet here in New Zealand, we very easily become deficient in vitamin D because normally during the hours of 10 to 2 in summer, where we're absorbing vitamin D, the sun's just not powerful enough in winter and we're not getting vitamin D. So supplementation of vitamin D in winter here in New Zealand is optimal, and it's optimal for your immune system. As we live closer to the equator, winter months it's not such a problem. We can still gain vitamin D from the sun. Medicinal mushrooms such as reishi, chaga, lion's mane, cordyceps, shiitake. A lot of these medicinal mushrooms that grow off trees modulate the immune system, and a lot of our antibiotics were created from nature and created from fungi, which these medicinal mushrooms come from. But they just use extracts, and therefore when we use extracts, then we get issues with side effects from it. But if we take the whole substance, like a herb in nature or a medicinal mushroom, then we don't get the side effects, but we get all the benefit and the intelligence of that particular substance. Now, why do we have a low immune system to start off with? Now, we generally have a weakened immune system because our body becomes deficient in certain nutrients and minerals, and it becomes toxic in the things and built up with heavy metals and the things that shouldn't be in our body, and plasticizers and those sorts of things. Because we're not looking after our body, we're not detoxifying our body enough by staying away from the things that we shouldn't be consuming and breathing, environmental toxins, being aware of them, and making sure that nutritionally we're getting all the minerals, all these trace minerals that I've talked about in a previous video. So hence that's why it's a good idea to get into these herbalism, because a lot of the herbs that I'm talking about are wild plants, and they have all these micronutrients in it. Superfoods such as cacao, goji berry, they're called superfoods in aloe vera because they've got an affinity to absorb all these micronutrients, and they're grown in soils where topsoils are mineral rich. Okay? They're not being readily farmed all the time where our topsoil is becoming depleted. So another thing why we're destroying our microbiome, which is 80 to 90% of our immune system, is because, again, we're sterilizing everything. Within our medical system, everything's all about alcohol washes and harsh alcohol washes and sterilizing and cleaning everything, which is increasing our likelihood of getting abundance or accumulation of bad strains of bacteria and viruses within our body, because our friendly bacteria are not being bacteria is being destroyed, including our friendly bacteria. And that's what happens when we take antibiotics. It's destroying all bacteria. It's sterilizing our body, when really we need to be embracing this friendly bacteria phenomenon, and bacteria in general, actually. It strengthens our immune system, and that's why we're getting an increasing number of super bugs within a health system, because our immune system is just not bolstered by enough friendly bacteria, because we're sterilizing everything that we eat, that all the surfaces that we are using within the hospital and also at home. So I can see the future. This is how what we're going to end the video with. I can see the future where we embrace friendly bacteria strains instead of antibiotics. So we'd get a culture of somebody that would come into the hospital, we'd grow that culture, and then we'd match that culture with a form of friendly bacteria instead of using antibiotics, and then we wouldn't get the side effects. We'd just bolster our immune system the way it was naturally supposed to be, by making sure those friendly bacteria numbers are up, because it is 80 and 90% of the immune system. So, and using cleaning products, we would spray friendly bacteria. So instead of using alcohol, we'd clean all the surfaces within our homes and within the hospitals using friendly bacteria, which would keep all the bad bacteria at bay and the bad viruses and so on. So let me know what you think underneath. Post any comments on my YouTube page and also my Facebook page. Tell me what you think. As I say, I'm not dead against vaccinations. I just think that all these added chemicals and things that are adding to the vaccines just do not make sense to me. I do know that they're all being created by Big Pharma, and Big Pharma gets billions of dollars a year with making these products. I think there's a much better way of building up your immune system and being more naturalistic with your lifestyle and looking after the immune system, giving the body what it needs to do its job properly. I think a lot of the problems we're susceptible to these viruses and bacterial strains because we're not giving the body the fuel it requires to do its job properly. And if we need to go to a vaccination as a last resort, fine. But I think we need to be really doing as many natural treatments as possible to keep our immune system strong. So let me know what you think. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching.